Game day's here, I can hear the crowd. Turn on the lights, fans are cranked up and loud. Red or blue, we wear it proud. Yeah, we love our teams in this border town. Chiefs and Royals, Boo Mizzou, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Hear that drum pounding in your feet. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of KC.
What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy, and if you cannot tell, I'm extremely hyped. The reason is because the Kansas Jayhawks come out victorious against the Syracuse Orange. And ladies and gentlemen, I really thought this was going to be a great basketball game, and it turned out to be exactly that. This was a high-flowing, very fast-paced basketball game. And the Kansas Jayhawks stepped up to the challenge and defeated the Syracuse Orange. It was incredible. You know, the fact that this team has started to play cohesively without Darren Peterson is just a statement in itself. I really think that we really need Darren Peterson to be on the floor, but at the same time, this team is learning to play and build confidence without the best player in college basketball. Imagine when Darren Peterson comes back, you're adding Darren Peterson into guys with Flory, Bryson Tiller, Trey White, and the list goes on and on. Jamari McDowell stepped up massively. Given an opportunity to start, which we'll talk about, he stepped up to the challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Self said, "Hey, Jamari, you're getting the start today." He's like, "Got you, coach. Watch this." He went out and played really well. Cole, probably took it off the chin. He's taken out of the starting lineup. He didn't let that bother him. He came off the bench and provided valuable minutes, played solid defense, and gave you everything that you want from a freshman coming off the bench. This is starting to come together, ladies and gentlemen. We took some lumps against Duke. We took some lumps against North Carolina. Now, they're going to be challenged. The schedule does not get any easier. We don't quite know who we're going to play in the next game for this tournament, but it has been absolutely impressive so far. I really enjoy this Playa Era Festival. If you want to call it a tournament, that's what I'm calling it. Just pretty cool how this entire thing's coming about. And it sounds like college basketball as a whole is really enjoying the process too. We're going to jump in. We're really going to talk about team notes and individual spotlight. We're going to really highlight those players. I think they need to be. And so we're going to jump in. The starting five tonight was Flory Badunga, Bryson Tiller, Trey White, Jamari McDowell gets the start, and to round it out is Melvin Council Jr. Now, one of the biggest things, I look at three categories every time the Kansas Jayhawks take the floor, and that is rebounds, it is free throws, and that is turnovers. So the first thing we're going to talk about is rebounds. The second thing we're going to talk about is turnovers, and then finally, the free throw line. So the rebounds, we really are starting to crash the boards. We're starting to win when it matters, and I think this game in itself will explain that. Kansas absolutely controlled the glass, hauling in a season-high 49 rebounds. They out-rebounded Syracuse 49-29. This is the first time this season KU has posted double-digit offensive rebounds in back-to-back games, which obviously is helping them fuel second-chance opportunities and gain that offensive control. Now, the next thing is obviously the free throw line, which I told you I look at. They were locked in at the stripe, ladies and gentlemen. I always am very critical of the free throw line. Those are free points. And I typically say if you're 75% or greater, you're going to have a good chance at winning the game because you're getting a lot of opportunities when you're driving and getting fouled. In this case, the Kansas Jayhawks made 18 of 20 free throws, shooting a season-best 90%. That pays off down the stretch late in the game. We saw Syracuse make a huge run, a big-time comeback. And the reason is because in the second half, there was a stretch of about 4 minutes where Kansas just could not find a way to put the ball in the basket. But ladies and gentlemen, when they start to drive to the basket, get fouled, and then they clutch up and hit those free throws, that helps extend the lead. That helps really kind of take away the momentum of your opponent. And in this case, the Syracuse Orange, they couldn't rally all the way back. It is an automatic late game weapon. That's the best 90% plus night from the line with 20 plus attempts since November 8th against North Carolina in 2024. Now the next thing is obviously turnovers. We unfortunately had a high rate of turnovers. I think we had 14, maybe 15 turnovers in this game. That is astronomically way too many turnovers. You're giving teams the opportunity to really score on those turnovers, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. And to Syracuse's minimal, I think they maybe had 3-4 turnovers. So you really got to focus on that and really kind of hone in on that. I'm sure Bill Self is really going to hit on the fact that they turn over the ball too much. Now, the gritty scoring aspect. KU rode 2 straight games with 71 points to victory. That's kind of a weird stat, I think, because to score 71 points back-to-back nights, the exact same score, that's the first time since November 22nd to December 1st in 2023, in a stretch where they played Tennessee, Eastern Illinois, and UConn, that they've won consecutive games scoring 71 or fewer. Now, the double-double depth, and ladies and gentlemen, this is impressive to me because we're starting to see this kind of become a relevant thing. We're starting to see this on a consistent basis. For the first time since January 13th, 2024, Kansas had 2 players. In this case, it was Flory Badunga and Trey White record double-doubles in the same game. It almost happened last night. You almost had 3 guys in double-doubles status. So it's interesting to see how these guys are really crashing the boards and at the same time scoring points. It's a testament to their strength, the balance of this team coming together, the cohesiveness that we've talked about coming together, and the effort across the roster. So this team is starting to build it. And I want to play this clip for you real quick. And I think this post-game interview where Trey White is kind of given the opportunity to really speak. They let the big man, the leader right now of this team, step up and talk. And the team is behind him, rallying behind him, motivating him. And you could just tell they're starting to come together. And again, this is happening without the number 1 freshman in the country in Darren Peterson.
Interview now. They came close. They were within 2 points. How did you guys create that separation down the stretch?
I feel like our team, we just took together through the hard times and we pulled it out this year.
I got to ask you about the bigs here because they're such great passers. How does that make it easier for you guys as guards and open up the offense?
It makes it so much easier when they got to double both bigs and get us open shots, so it makes us play faster.
What have you learned? Okay. What have you learned about this group so far?
Say it again.
What have you learned about your group so far?
I feel like our group, everything we do is consistent. You know what I'm saying? Every day, we keep it consistent, and I think we know we're going up at the right time.
All right, appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
Now we're going to jump in and talk about the individual aspects. Stat sheet highlights. Flory Badunga, ladies and gentlemen, what else can be said? I mean, this guy continues to learn to play the game of basketball. He's continued to evolve. He's cracking out of his shell, which I've mentioned multiple times in multiple videos. We're starting to see him become a premier player that is really going to have a staple in college basketball. He had a big game on the boards again. He scored 13 points, going 5 of 8 from the field. He grabbed a season-high 14 rebounds. The guy is just boxing out and getting after it. He blocked. I didn't write that one down, but he had multiple blocks again in this game. He finishing with 14 total boards, powering KU's 49 rebound night. He notched a double-double, his second this season and 4th in his career. I expect a lot more of that this year. And he logged blocks, rim protecting as usual. I mean, Flory is becoming a very, very good basketball player. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the evolution of a guy who, and Bill Self talked about it in the very end, when he was interviewed at the TNT table with all the guys. They really talked about Flory. And one of the things they talked about, and Bill Self really mentioned, was he thought it was a good opportunity for Flory to test really kind of the transfer portal. I think in the deep down, he's going to tell you he didn't want him to leave. Of course not. Who would want a guy like that to leave? But he tested it, and it shows that he is committed to Kansas. It's funny because Bruce Pearl was on the panel, and he kind of took a shot at Bruce, saying that he really was recruiting him pretty heavy. Obviously, Bruce Pearl doesn't coach anymore. He handed it off to his son to coach at Auburn. But it was just kind of funny how that entire thing transpired.
Well, I'm a big fan of Badunga, and I want to ask you the question. With the advent of this transfer portal and players developing, you've seen a jump from him. What does it say about him and his commitment to Kansas and also his commitment to his own personal development?
Well, last year, it's fairly well documented. It was a rough year for us, and we didn't reach expectations. And Flory had the option to put his name in the portal and to look to see what was available. And, we had DP obviously on board. And one of the reasons DP came was because he wanted to play with Flo. And the fact that he tested it and still wanted to come back. I think most coaches think, well, if they enter, they're done. This was the right thing for him to do, just to get a feel for it, He came back. He's more committed. He's really improved. Of course, Bruce recruited him hard. He's really improved. He does a lot of things well. He had 5 assists yesterday, and then he flipped that and had 5 turnovers today. But still, yet he's improved in so many areas.
Bill, I talked about it. We talked about second chance points. I talked about a second chance for this sophomore season. So many kids, if they don't have success right away, they're jumping the transfer portal. He looked for about a week, and we talked to him. And one of the greatest things I loved about his decision, he wanted to be loyal to Kansas. He wanted to be loyal to Bill Self and that coaching staff. There weren't a lot of guys coming back because you lost so many. So there wasn't like a lot of teammates were there to keep him. I was just so really impressed.
He's the only guy last year that scored a point for us that's playing this year.
Yeah.
Mari and Marco were on the team, but they both redshirted. But he's been great. And he can impact the game and not score. He can switch 5 on a ball screen and take advantage of not guarding screening actions and things like that. So he's a good player.
Yes. Now, the next person we're going to talk about is Trey White. Veteran stability, clutch finishing. We're starting to see him kind of take over at times. He really was kind of cold, or not necessarily cold, but quiet in the very first portion of this game. And then he just really turned it on. He ended with 15 points, going 4 of 9 from the floor and making 6 of 6 free throws. Ladies and gentlemen, that is something, again, that I'm going to highlight every single time. Hit it with the highlighter yellow. The free throws are so valuable. In years past, we've kind of struggled from the free throw line. This year, it seems that we're starting to really get a good grasp of hitting those shots. In a market that never sleeps, one name rises above the rest. Lisa Miller from Dan Lynch Real Estate. Trusted by hundreds and recognized across the Midwest, she delivers results when it matters the most. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you are a first-time homebuyer, looking to upsize, or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait, your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at 913-579-3246 or 913-369-3000 or visit lisamillersaleskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next exciting chapter. And let her know the beat of KC, Lucas Murphy, sent you her way. He pulled down 10 rebounds, recording his first double-double of the season and 7th of his career. He also dished out 3 assists, contributing across the stat sheet and hitting all free throws late to seal the deal. He even drove one time. I mean, he really had this team fired up. He drove to the basket, got fouled. I think it was an and one, and it really just hyped up this bench. It was an incredible drive for Trey White. Now, Melvin Council Jr., I'm kind of on the fence. It's like I really see his contribution as a point guard. He truly contributes as a point guard. He's out there. He plays very at a high level. And, there's numbers we'll really talk about. I'm not down on Melvin Council. It's just kind of ebbs and flows with him. He scored 14 points, which was incredible because he's continuing a run of 3 straight games with 10 or more points. The impressive thing is Council was 3 of 15 from the floor, but he managed to shoot 7 of 8 from the free throw line. So that tells you he's getting fouled and he's making his shots. That's what matters. When you get to the stripe, make it count. He grabbed 7 rebounds as a point guard, season high, tallied 5 assists, his 5th game this season with 5+ assists. He's showing his all-around value. And so Melvin Council is really kind of starting to grow on me as a point guard. I think because we've had DeJuan Harris out, with Kansas for so long, we're really used to his consistency, his ability to dish the rock, and kind of just that steady play. And now that you got Melvin Council, I'm trying to get used to that, if that makes sense. Bryson Tiller, again, ladies and gentlemen, steps up massively, put up 11 points, 5 from the floor, marking his 2nd straight double-figure scoring game. We're starting to see Bryson Tiller and Flory really work cohesively together. They're a unit down low. And when they really start to double Flory, that opens up Bryson, that opens up Trey, and it really gives those guys opportunities to score points. He pulled down 8 rebounds, giving him 5 straight games with 5+ boards. Another sign that he's developing and becoming a presence on the floor. And the last person, 2 more people we're going to talk about. This next person, I'm super excited for him. I'm glad he's been given an opportunity, and that's Jamari McDowell. Breakout first start, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Self said, hey, it's your turn, buddy. In his first career start, McDowell scored a career-high 9 points, going 3 of 7, while logging 34 minutes, also a career high for him. I think the biggest thing with Jamari is he hits some clutch threes. He is he doesn't just take shots. He's very precise on his shots. Now, he did go 3 of 7, but I think what he really contributes most and why Bill's giving him the opportunity to start is his ability to play defense. He's always locking down whoever he's against, and it's just incredible to see Jamari really play at a high level. I expect Jamari to get some starts until obviously Darren comes back. But the fact that you're going to have a guy like Cole Rosario potentially coming off the bench, you're going to have a guy like Jamari McDowell coming off the bench, it's just going to be interesting to see how this really kind of continues to evolve. And you're going to have depth that actually provides valuable minutes, and that's what Jamari is going to be able to do. Cole Rosario, he went to the bench, but he didn't let it bother him, ladies and gentlemen. In limited minutes off the bench, I think he had played 20 minutes. Rosario scored 7 points. He had a huge dunk at the very end of the game, which really at the time kind of helped Kansas when it comes to this point structure in this Players Era Festival. Now that the games have been going on, it obviously adjusted, but with that dunk, it really solidified Kansas as the top in their bracket. Unfortunately, that changed with the games that went on, but I mean, he's playing well from the bench. Now, why this matters, this was more than just a win. It was a statement night of physicality. That's something that we needed to see from this Kansas Jayhawks team. Physicality. We're watching Houston. If you watch the Houston games, they played two very competitive teams. They played, obviously, the Syracuse Orange, then they turned around and followed that game up where they played Tennessee. Houston is a physical team, and so Kansas matched that physicality tonight against the Syracuse team, and the execution and depth is stepping up. They're starting to really dominate on the boards. They're getting on the line. They're making their shots, paired with multiple double-doubles and scoring that is spread across starters and reserves, underlines this roster's strength. And that's really, I think, what Bill Self saw when he constructed this thing, is the fact that he knows what they're going to be capable of doing. He mentioned in the very first, before the first game even happened, he just said, I don't know what to expect. And I think what he was trying to say is he really just didn't know how this thing was going to evolve. And I think he really didn't know how it was going to evolve once Darren Peterson wasn't a part of the starting rotation due to injuries. So now that his team is starting to play together cohesively, they're starting to really come together as a unit. He's seeing this thing and he's like, man, this is what I envisioned. From the freshmen that hustle to the veteran poise, Kansas showed it's ready to grind and win in different ways. This is staging you and setting you up for success when the Big 12 time comes. When that schedule starts to hit where you play Big 12 teams, these types of games are where it's going to matter and it's going to be very important. They got to stretch. They got to play another game in this Players Era Festival. Then they go and play UConn. Then they play Missouri. They play a few other games. Like, they're going to be battle tested multiple times. And it's just incredible to see this team starting to come together. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see who we end up playing for the finals, the game. This has just been incredible. What else has been incredible is the support you guys have given me on this channel. I can't thank y'all enough. It has been incredible to see the growth of this channel, the views that I'm getting, the support. It has been incredible. I can't thank y'all enough. I seriously, truly mean it. Make sure you guys smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, comment down below. Let me know who your favorite player is right now. I'd be interested to hear. And I end every video the exact same way. Have a good day.